It's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer, and just before the Easter bank holiday kicked in, there was a knock at the door from the postman. And I generally like a knock at the door from the postman because it generally means some beer's coming. And we have some beer from Unbound Brewing Company. This brewery, if you like your stouts, I would say this brewery produce some of the best stouts in the UK without a shadow of a doubt. The stouts that they produce are thick and creamy and luscious, full of flavour, full of richness, and they're just fantastic. Try out an Unbound Brewing Company stout if you can. I can't overly endorse their best bitter because I've never tried one of their best bitters up until now. We have a 4% best bitter here today called Tramlines Bitter. Now, I live in one of these houses. Not one of these houses, but a very similar style house where we're standing right now. If you are watching from abroad, Europe, America, this is a traditional looking terraced house. I love them. I think they're brilliant. I think they're the best. I think the only downside with the terraced house is the fact that they don't have a front garden. But in terms of like build quality and, you know, they were built forever type of thing. Miniature castles all over the UK. Most were built from stone. Look at that tram there running through the streets of, I think it might be Colne or maybe Oldham in the UK. Beer in the glass then. Ooh, look at this. Now, there is etching on the bottom of this glass. Two finger, slightly off-white head. Good levels of carbonation in the glass. Yes, a chestnutty coloured best bitter. This is what you would, you know, when you watch the television programmes and they might be in like a working man's club or a pub in the 1960s. They'll always be drinking something like this, a best bitter, and they always generally look like this. There's the etching in the bottom of the glass. That's going to create a little bit more of the carbonation. But here we go then. Let's get the aroma. Very quickly, there's no sediment in this glass of beer whatsoever. I would say it's slightly, ever so slightly hazy. Aroma. Thank you to Unbound Brewing Company for sending me this beer then. Cheers, guys. Got it up my nose. Yeah, this style of beer for me is just, when it's done right, is absolutely magnificent. The nice kind of biscuity breadiness coming through. The slight kind of blackberry, fruity, blueberry like hop aroma. Dark fruit aroma coming through. But a little bit of sweetness there from the malt. I'm almost salivating here. This caramel aroma is coming through. A little bit of licorice. Oh, let's get in. Cheers, everybody. For a 4% ABV beer. This has more or less everything. It's drinkable, it's refreshing, yes, it's malty, and biscuity and bready and nutty. That's just the malt. That's just the malt doing that. Best bitters are best bitters because they have this wonderful bitterness on the back end. This one has it too, of course. But it's not just a bitterness for the sake of being bitter. This is kind of like, as I mentioned in the aroma, this is more of a kind of like a fruity bitterness, more of a traditional, wonderful, if you like plums and figs and prunes coming through in the flavour. Really, really blooming lovely beer. Pardon me. So, I'm going tonight. Tonight I will be drinking 4 pints of, generally have 4 pints of best bitter. Or, it's funny, isn't it? Because names change. It's the same beer, but names change. They call it a premium ale these days. Lots of breweries have decided to call a best bitter a premium ale. That's absolutely fine. Do what you will with it. But I quite like the name best bitter. So I'm going to a working man's club tonight, and I'm going to drink 4 pints of best bitter stroke premium ale. Being a working man's club, being they're tied to Molson Coors, I'll be drinking Doombar. And at first I joined this club to play snooker, and it was kind of like Doombar. But sometimes it's not about, I know this might sound strange, but sometimes it's not about the beer. I go out to play snooker, and actually, the Doombar's, if it's okay, it's okay. The Doombar's okay. It really is an okay kind of best bitter. This, on the other hand, if this was in my working man's club, I think I'd lose every single snooker match known to man, because I'd be taking a shot and missing like I normally do, and I'd be kind of having a good mouthful of beer and thinking about the beer and thinking about the flavours. How wonderful it is. Whereby Doombar, I'm just like, right, I'm thinking about my next shot, and I'm just sipping a beer while I'm thinking about my next shot. I'm not even thinking about the Doombar. Why did I mention that? Well, it's synonymous with best bitters are generally synonymous with working man's clubs, aren't they? And they work, they fit, they definitely work. They definitely do. It's like a hand and a glove. So the hops are Brewer's Gold, Nugget, and the malt is Maris Otter, Pale, Roasted Barley, Crystal 150 and Crystal 240. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 malts in this beer. You can definitely get the layers of malt here. A classic best bitter brewed in collaboration with the Trawden community to celebrate local craft and the coming together of people. Wonderful. Heart of the Pennines in a place called Colne. Wonderful. So I am going to rate this beer. I'm going to rate it, and I'm going to give it a Stone the Crows 9 out of 10. So 9 out of 10 from Real Ale Craft Beer. Please put your comments in the comments box. Subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews. Give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom. Cheers.